Hello again. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. I'm still getting the hang of Premiere, so trying out several effects and things. I'm sure I'll land on something a bit more consistent, but for now I'm just having fun. So, buckle up. Okay, so this fall's been pretty IPO heavy. So far we've seen names like JFrog, Unity, Sumo Logic, Corsair. I guess they're tech. Hardware? Sure. Tech's a bit of a misnomer anyway. And of course the big one, Snowflake. All these businesses have entered the market with varying degrees of success, but there's more to come. Two that I'm particularly interested in are Asana and Palantir. Both very different businesses, really interesting business models. You're of course going to want to do your own research to determine whether any of these businesses make sense for you to own. IPOs are a bit tricky because they can be harder to value. Okay, so far this year, IPOs in general have been having a heyday. The Renaissance IPO ETF, ticker symbol IPO, tracks businesses once they enter the public market. I believe they track them for 2 years. The year-to-date IPO fund is up just over 62% as of today, September 24th. Not too shabby. According to Barron's, much of this enthusiasm around IPOs has been driven by the rebound in index prices. That makes sense, although we're seeing a bit of a turnaround in the last few weeks. Maybe we got a little ahead of ourselves. And tech is the worst offender, which is why you're seeing so many parallels to the early 2000s, because the same thing happened then. I was just a kid, though. Okay, so enough of that. I'm particularly interested in one IPO that's slated for the end of this month, I believe, which is Asana. So I wanted to do a bit of a deep dive into this company. I'm not a finance guy by trade. Most of my work is more on consumer behavior and macro trends and culture, things like that. So believe me when I say going through financial statements is not enjoyable. It's pretty goddamn boring. I'm committed to being more proficient with finding and interpreting these numbers, though, so I'm going to stick with it. Before we get into that, a little bit of background. These guys have been around for a while. They were founded in 2009. This is an Andreessen Horowitz-funded company, one of their unicorns. If you don't know Andreessen Horowitz, they're one of Silicon Valley's largest VCs, started by a couple of the smartest guys out there. Mark Andreessen founded Mosaic, later Netscape, some of the original web browsers. Anyways, wow, what a digression. Stay on track. Okay, Asana, founded by Facebook co-founder Dustin Moskovitz. Interesting guy, interesting story. Asana itself offers a pretty sophisticated project management software. It's a bit of an oversimplification, but they have workflow tools for teams across nearly all disciplines. Marketing, HR tools, finance tools, etc. Their mission, as stated on the third page of their S-1, is to help humanity thrive by enabling the world's teams to work together effortlessly. A bit lofty. But moving on. They've got 102 million paid subscribers across 190 countries. Alright. I believe it was somewhere here. I don't have it with me, but around 60% of their business is outside of the U.S., about 40% inside the U.S. From what I can tell, they've made incredible progress over the last few years, scaling their offering. However, they face an incredible amount of competition. You've got Microsoft Teams, Slack, Smartsheet, others, all comparable products in one form or another. They do different things, but they exist within the same competitive set. That said, I like companies whose business model is predicated on a recurring revenue relationship, meaning, in this instance, that it's a lot of work and expense for an entire team or an entire business to discontinue the use of something like Asana. They would have to migrate all their data to a new platform and retrain their entire staff, and it'd be a huge hassle. Not fun. So that's interesting. It's founder-led, of course, lots of existing customers. The next step is we want to take a look at their financials in this filing and see if they're profitable, how they plan on deploying capital in the future, and so forth. Okay, in their S-1, We can see that they are not profitable. As of April 30th, 2020, we have an accumulated deficit of $365 million. The losses reflect, among other things, the significant investments we made to develop and commercialize our platform, serve our existing customers, and broaden our customer base. Okay, yada, yada, yada. So, last year they took about a $142 million, took in about $142 million. What's interesting about that is they say it represents an 86% growth rate from the previous year, so strong growth overall. Another positive indicator I'll mention here is customer retention, which looks very high, although I don't have anything to compare that to in this category. So looks high, but I don't have any other numbers. These guys do operate at a loss, of course. However, we can still determine how they're deploying their earnings. On top of improvements to the product and the other things that they mentioned, one of their strategies that they mentioned for growth next year is to significantly expand their sales team. They mentioned they have doubled their current sales team since 2019. Again, I don't know if that's from like 2 to 4 people or 1,000 to 2,000 people. Maybe it's in here, I just didn't see it. With this expanded sales team, they want to increase sales within their existing customer base. So if a company's product team uses Asana, they're probably interfacing with marketing or whomever else quite a bit. So the proposition being, those teams should be using Asana too, and you'll be able to work together more seamlessly. Cool. So overall, I think this space makes a lot of sense, especially because of the remote nature of teams now and potentially beyond the COVID crisis. Lots of room for collaboration software to continue to grow. I'm going to watch what happens with this IPO. I'll probably keep my hard-earned dollars out of it for a while until I see how the market prices it. And thinking farther out if they'll be able to achieve profitability. If they are in short order, then this may be an interesting business to invest in if I can buy it on sale. Woo! We did it. First official video. A semi-deep dive on Asana. Honestly, this is just scratching the surface. There's so much more research to do. But the important thing was that it was fun and informative. Everybody wins. Okay, more videos next week. Thanks for watching. If you lasted this long, if you enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to do 2 of these a week. And I guess that's it. Have a great weekend, everybody.